The rain fell steadily on the rusty zinc roof of the tiny room where 16-year-old Omar sat staring through a cracked window. The room was small, barely large enough for a bed, a wooden table, and a charcoal stove that occupied one corner. Water leaked through holes in the roof whenever it rained heavily. On such nights, bowls and buckets would be arranged around the room to catch the dripping water. Omar had grown up in that room. She knew every crack in the wall and every creak in the old wooden door. Life had never been easy. Her mother, Amoka, worked tirelessly selling vegetables in the market, yet they barely had enough money to survive. Some days they ate twice. Some days only once. There were even days when Omar pretended she was not hungry so her mother could eat. Despite their poverty, Omar loved school. She believed education was her only way out. Every morning she woke before sunrise, swept the compound, fetched water, and helped her mother prepare for the market before leaving for school. Her teachers admired her. Her classmates respected her. She consistently ranked first in class. But one question disturbed her throughout her childhood. Who was her father? Whenever she saw fathers attending school events, she felt a painful emptiness. Other children proudly introduced their fathers. Omar had nobody. The first time she asked about him, she was only 7 years old. "Mother, where is my father?" she had asked innocently. Amoka's face darkened immediately. "You don't need a father. But everybody has one." I said stop asking. Omar obeyed. For a while. But as she grew older, the curiosity became impossible to ignore. At 12 years old she asked again. "Mother, did my father die?" "No." "Then where is he?" "Far away." "Does he know me?" Amoka slammed the plate onto the table. I said stop asking about him. Tears filled Omar's eyes. She never understood why the subject made her mother so angry. Years passed. The questions remained unanswered. Then things became worse. Amoka began changing. She became quieter. More withdrawn. Sometimes Omar would wake during the night and hear her mother crying softly. One evening after returning from school, Omar found her mother sitting alone in darkness. The electricity had been disconnected weeks earlier because they could not pay the bill. "Mama." Amoka looked up. For a moment Omar noticed tears in her eyes. Then they disappeared. "You're back." "Yes." "How was school?" "I came first in the mathematics test." Usually such news would make Amoka smile. That evening she simply nodded. "That's good." Omar sat beside her. "Mother, are you alright?" "I'm fine." But she clearly wasn't. The months that followed were difficult. Their financial situation worsened. Market sales dropped. Rent accumulated. Debts increased. Sometimes Amoka returned home looking defeated. One night Omar overheard her arguing with a landlord outside. "If you don't pay within 2 weeks, leave my property." The words frightened her. Later that night she found her mother crying. For the first time, Omar wrapped her arms around her. "We'll be okay, Mother." Amoka hugged her tightly. Very tightly. As though she never wanted to let go. "My daughter," she whispered. "You deserve so much better." Omar smiled. "As long as I have you, I'm okay." Amoka burst into tears. At the time Omar did not understand why. A week later, everything changed. It happened on a Monday morning. Omar woke early as usual. The room felt strangely quiet. Normally her mother would already be awake preparing for the market. But there was no sound. No movement. No smell of breakfast. "Mother." No response. She sat up. The other side of the room was empty. The bed where Amoka slept had already been neatly arranged. Omar frowned. "Mother." Still no answer. She checked outside. Nothing. She checked the bathroom. Empty. Confusion slowly turned into worry. Then she noticed something lying on the table. A folded piece of paper. Her name was written on it. Uma. Her heart began beating faster. With trembling hands she opened the letter. The handwriting belonged to her mother. My dearest Uma. Forgive me. I know what I am about to do is wrong, but I have reached the end of my strength. I can no longer provide the life you deserve. You are intelligent, kind, and capable of becoming something great. The truth is that your father is alive. His name is Chief Okafor. He lives in Oba. I never told him about you because I was angry and afraid. But you deserve to know where you came from. Inside this envelope is his address. Find him. Tell him who you are. Perhaps he can give you the future I never could. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Mother. Oma stared at the letter. Her vision blurred. The words seemed unreal. No. 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 Her mother couldn't be gone. She rushed outside. Mother. She ran through the compound. Mother. People stared. Nobody answered. She searched the neighborhood for hours. Nobody had seen Amoka. Nobody knew where she had gone. By evening, reality became impossible to deny. Her mother had abandoned her. Oma returned to the room and sat on the floor clutching the letter. Tears streamed endlessly down her face. For 16 years it had been just the two of them. Now she was alone. Completely alone. Night came. Then morning. Still no sign of Amoka. 3 days passed. Nothing. The little money they had was almost gone. The landlord demanded rent. Fear settled inside Oma's heart. Then she remembered the address. Chief Okafor. Her father. The man she had spent her entire life wondering about. The man who might not even want her. She stared at the paper for a long time. Should she go? What if he rejected her? What if he denied knowing her? What if he chased her away? But what choice did she have? She was alone. Finally she packed her belongings into a small travel bag. A few clothes. Her school certificates. Some books. The letter. And the address. The next morning she boarded a bus heading to Oba. As the vehicle pulled away, Oma looked back one final time. The tiny room disappeared from sight. So did her childhood. The journey to Oba lasted several hours. Oma sat quietly by the window of the crowded bus, clutching her small bag tightly against her chest. She barely noticed the conversations around her. Her mind was occupied by 1,000 thoughts. Would her father recognize her? Would he welcome her? Would he even believe her? Several times she pulled out the folded paper containing the address and read it again. The words did not change. Chief Okafor. The name sounded powerful. Important. Nothing like the life she had known. As the bus entered the city, Oma's nervousness increased. Tall buildings replaced the small houses she was accustomed to. Busy roads stretched endlessly ahead. Expensive cars filled the streets. Everything seemed different. Everything seemed bigger. She felt small and insignificant. When the bus finally arrived, she climbed down and asked several people for directions. After nearly an hour, she stood before a magnificent black gate. Behind it stood a mansion so beautiful that she momentarily forgot why she had come. The building had 3 floors. Its walls gleamed under the afternoon sun. Several expensive vehicles were parked inside the compound. Flowers lined the driveway. Security cameras watched every corner. Oma swallowed hard. Her father lived here. while she and her mother had struggled to survive in a leaking room. A painful feeling rose inside her chest. She approached the gate. The security guard immediately stopped her. "Where are you going?" I want to see Chief Okafor." The guard looked her up and down. Her simple clothes made her appear poor compared to the wealthy residents of the estate. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," Omar replied. "Then you can't enter," the guard said to her. Omar hesitated. "I came from far away," Omar said. "Many people come from far away," the guard replied. "Please. Tell him Omar is here." The guard folded his arms. "And who is Omar?" Omar took a deep breath. "His daughter." The words almost refused to leave her mouth. "I am his daughter." The guard stared at her. Then he laughed. A loud, mocking laugh. "His daughter?" "Yes," Omar replied. "You?" "Yes." The guard laughed even harder. But something about the seriousness in her eyes caused him to pause. "Wait here." Several minutes later, another employee arrived. Then another. Soon 3 workers were staring curiously at Omar. Whispers spread. Questions followed. Eventually one of the servants disappeared into the house. 10 minutes later the gate slowly opened. "Come." Omar's heart pounded violently. This was it. The moment she had imagined for years. She followed the servant toward the mansion. Each step felt heavier than the last. Inside, everything looked luxurious. Marble floors. Paintings decorated the walls. A very beautiful house that looked like something from a dream. A servant led her toward the dining room. Voices drifted from inside. Laughter. Conversation. A family enjoying lunch together. Omar froze. For the first time she realized what she was about to disrupt. The servant pushed the door open. Immediately every eye turned toward her. At the head of the table sat a distinguished-looking man in his late 50s. His hair was slightly gray. His posture radiated authority. Without needing anyone to tell her, Omar knew. That was her father, Chief Okafor. Beside him sat an elegant woman. Across from them sat a young man who looked about 18 years old. The room fell silent. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. Chief Okafor frowned. "Who is this?" The servant cleared his throat. "Sir, she insisted on seeing you." Chief Okafor looked annoyed. "What do you want?" Omar suddenly forgot everything she had planned to say. Her mouth became dry. Her hands trembled. For several seconds she simply stood there. Then she gathered her courage. "My name is Omar." Nobody responded. She swallowed hard. "I came because..." Her voice cracked. "I came because you are my father." Silence. Complete silence. The words seemed to hang in the air. Chief Okafor stared at her. The woman beside him stared at her. The young man stared at her. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Then the woman laughed nervously. "What kind of joke is this?" Omar shook her head. "It isn't a joke." Chief Okafor slowly stood up. His face had become pale. "Who sent you?" "My mother." The color drained from his face. "What is your mother's name?" "Amaka." The room exploded into silence once again. The name clearly meant something. Something important. Something dangerous. The woman beside him gripped the table. "Chief Okafor." Chief Okafor didn't answer. His eyes remained fixed on Omar. "When were you born?" 16 years ago. The woman stood abruptly. "Chief Okafor." Still no response. Omar reached into her bag. My mother left this. She produced several old photographs, letters, documents, evidence, proof. Chief Okafor took them with shaking hands. The moment he saw the photographs, his shoulders slumped. The truth was undeniable. The young man looked confused. Father. Chief Emeka closed his eyes. For a long moment nobody spoke. Finally he whispered. She's telling the truth. The room erupted. The woman staggered backward. No. Chief Okafor lowered his head. Ngozi. No, the woman screamed again. Tears filled her eyes. You promised me. Ngozi, listen. You promised there was nobody else. The woman began breathing heavily. Her entire body trembled. The young man rushed toward her. Mother. Ngozi looked at Omar. Then at her husband. Then back at Omar. The shock was simply too much. Her face twisted in pain. Suddenly she held her chest. The room went into panic. Ngozi. She collapsed. The sound echoed through the room. Omar screamed. The young man fell to his knees beside his mother. Mother. Servants rushed forward. Chief Okafor grabbed his wife. Ngozi. But she was unconscious. Everything became chaos. People shouted. Within minutes Ngozi was rushed to the hospital. Chief Okafor left with her. The young man followed. Omar remained standing in the dining room. Alone. Frozen. Terrified. She had imagined many things. Rejection. Anger. Denial. But never this. Hours passed. Nobody spoke to her. Nobody comforted her. The servants looked at her with suspicion. Others with pity. Night fell. Still no news. Omar sat quietly in a corner of the mansion. Fear consumed her. Around midnight, the front door opened. Chief Okafor entered. His face looked broken. The young man followed behind him. His eyes were swollen from crying. Omar immediately stood. How is she? Nobody answered. She looked from one face to the other. Then she understood. The answer was written all over them. No. Chief Okafor slowly turned toward her. His eyes burned with grief. With anger. With pain. Ngozi was dead. The realization struck Omar like lightning. Her legs weakened. Tears filled her eyes. I didn't mean. Enough. The word came out cold. Sharp. Dangerous. Chief Okafor's voice trembled with emotion. My wife is dead. Omar began crying. I'm sorry. Sorry. His expression darkened. My wife welcomed me home every day for 20 years. Tears streamed down his face. 20 years. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. Then he pointed toward the staircase. You. His voice cracked. You walk into this house. Omar felt her heart stop. And now my wife is dead. The words cut deeper than any knife. The young man glared at her. His eyes filled with hatred. For the first time Omar truly understood. This family would never see her as a daughter. Never see her as a sister. To them she would always be something else. A stranger. An intruder. The girl who arrived and destroyed everything. Chief Okafor closed his eyes. For a moment he seemed exhausted, defeated, broken. Then he spoke again. You will stay here. Omar looked up. What? You are my daughter. His voice sounded hollow. I cannot deny that. For one brief second hope flickered inside her heart. Then his next words destroyed it. But don't expect anything else from me. The room fell silent. Chief Okafor turned away. Without another word, he walked upstairs. The young man followed. Before disappearing, he looked back at Omar. The hatred in his eyes sent a chill through her body. That night Omar cried herself to sleep in a guest room. Outside, the mansion stood silent. Inside, grief filled every corner. She had no idea that the pain she was feeling now is nothing compared to what her life would become in the future. The end of the beginning. To be continued.